those of y'all 30 and over. What up? What up? Yeah, like, kids don't say that no more. What up? What up? You're. But today is a beautiful day in New York City. Like, I just hope it can stay like this. I remember having a Christmas like this. It was real warm. I had like on a trench coat, and my son, he wore his Spider-Man hoodie, and we actually took a picture in front of was it in front of the tree? The tree was in the background, but we were in the area of Rockefeller Center, and it was just really warm. And today it is 72 degrees. I'm actually overdressed. Yesterday was perfect. It's funny because people had on coats, and I didn't. I had on my a thicker sweater than what I have on today with my same jacket, and I was fine. It's 57, whatever. But today is 72. It's definitely warm out here. You could wear your shorts, your short sleeves. A lot of people are riding their bikes today. It is a beautiful day. Like, if you didn't go out today, damn, beautiful day. But I wanted to talk about Netflix's show, Cecil Hotel. Now, that's, those of you familiar with the Los Angeles area, that is on Skid Row. So Skid Row is equivalent to what certain parts of Brooklyn are in New York City. Like, Brooklyn is very diverse, and you have Park Slope. Right now I'm in Brooklyn Heights. So these parts of Brooklyn are actually nice and decent, but you have parts of Brooklyn like East New York, Brownsville. Brownsville's like the more harsh places. Yeah, so that's equivalent to Skid Row. I think Skid Row is a little bit worse from what I've seen. You're talking about prostitutes, you're talking about crackheads. So this particular hotel has a bad rep. When I say a bad rep, horrible reputation. And the thing with Hotel Cecil, it is a tourist attraction, believe it or not. And it actually got shut down this year, and they should have been shut it down. Like, when they opened it, originally in 1919, it was a luxury hotel, and what happened was the Depression happened, and so they converted it into places when people fell on hard times. Similar to in New York City, you have hotels / shelters. So basically, this particular hotel became a shelter, and if you needed a place to stay, which I didn't realize, but it is a law in every state, particularly Los Angeles and New York City, where certain hotels are forced to convert into shelters, which I didn't know. And they've been doing that since the 1930s. What they're doing now is nothing new, which I figured there's like nothing new under the sun. But basically what's happening now with the migrants and the shelters and stuff, they've been doing that since the 1930s. And one of the hotels that they was doing that to was Hotel Cecil Hotel. And so, a lot of gangsters would be up in there. A lot of, suicides happened, murders in 1962. I don't know if you all heard of the Pigeon Lady. I heard of the Pigeon Lady. I didn't know she lived in a hotel. That's pretty sad. But she lived in Cecil Hotel, and she lived alone, and she was the Pigeon Lady. Everybody knew her as the Pigeon Lady, and she was murdered in her living quarters, her hotel room. To this day, they don't know who done it, right? So that was in 1962, and fast forward to 2013, Elisa Lam, Lam. She was an Asian American. No, she was an Asian Canadian. I'm sorry. Asian Canadian. So she was from Canada, and she actually went to Los Angeles for vacation. She was very heavy on social media. She would post things. I don't think she vlogged. Nobody was vlogging back then, but she had a heavy presence on social media, and she had a lot of followers. So when she passed away, I think that's how it got like viral, because I remember hearing about it like pre-pandemic or during the pandemic. Actually, somebody told me about her death, but I didn't know it happened in 2013. I thought this was something that happened like 2018, unless if it happened again. But her death is very sad for the simple fact she was mentally ill. And when you see the video is what made it so go, you know, viral. And I'm a very spiritual person, but the video didn't come off to me as anything ghostly. I don't see that in the video. That's just my personal opinion. A lot of people want to be spooky and say, oh, there was a ghost in an elevator and it told her to come outside in the hallway. She looks like a girl that was deeply disturbed. And as you're watching it on Netflix, that's what they tell you. That's what they say, actually, that yes, she was bipolar. Yes, she was on 4 different medications. And that's just so sad to me, because I've met people that were ADHD. I've met people that were bipolar. I know people, and they were fine. Like, they didn't have an episode. So I think when it comes to those things, you have to really trust your doctor. I'm coming from the doctor today for a dermatology situation, and a lot of these doctors, you know, it's a science when it comes to your body and your mind. And the meds, regardless if it's dermatology, mental, or anything, meds are not always the answer. Sometimes they are. If you have a child who is ADHD and they're like ruining property, they're biting and hitting people every single day, yes, they may need meds, but meds are not always the answer. For example, ADHD medications, they say, are no good, and they make boys grow breasts, all type of weird side effects. So I would just say do research. I would say you can't always trust doctors and their prescriptions. If it works for you, it does. Who's to say she didn't take her meds? Her family said that there were times when she didn't take her meds. But regardless of the fact, this is a deeply disturbed girl. And unfortunately, it might have led to her death. But I don't think so, because I don't think it led to her death for the simple fact she was left in a water tank. So water tanks, I forgot what it was myself. A water tank is on top of buildings, not every building, but it's a big old, how can I describe it? It's like a big old, it's a tank, but it's like a very big object. Sometimes you might see at the side of the building, they put it on the roof, and that's where the water supply comes from. They did not know that this girl was in that tank until one day the water was black, right? The water was black, and people were taking showers and stuff, and they like, yo, what's wrong with the water? So one of the employees thought to check on, if it wasn't for him, she would have never been discovered. He was like, all right, I'm gonna check the tank out to find out why the water is black, right? So the water was black because, you know, she was in it, and it was just sad because whoever murdered her, they probably did this before, because if you watch enough of crime shows, if you put the body in water, they'll never find out how you died, which is weird to me because we're in 2024. So there should be a way where they can still penetrate and find out how you die. Because why is water so powerful that you mean to tell me I could shoot somebody? Or not even shoot somebody, I could choke somebody. Because shooting somebody, they gonna find the hole. You look at so right? So you mean to tell me I could choke somebody out, put their body in the water, and they'll never know that I choked them? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. In 2024, like, we need to really step up our game on the autopsies. Like, that's crazy to me. And this is why these crimes happen, because people are watching these shows and it's like, how can I get away with murder? Oh yes, put their body in a river, water, something, and nobody would know anything, who done it or how. It's really crazy. So, but her death is really scary. And you know, when you're watching it, naturally you think, oh, you know, this was just a tragic accident. The part of the story that made me believe it was a murder, the tank was closed. The employee said that. Nobody knows but him knows that it was closed. So yeah. So there's no cameras on the roof. What else? Also, the hotel supervisor, she's like, oh, it's not our fault that she died. Yeah, it pretty much is, because if you had tight security like you said you did, the alarm system should have alerted you. How is it that you don't recall an alarm being pressed, you didn't hear anything, your employees didn't hear anything? Which to me is an admission to say, yeah, our alarm system is shit and we don't want to take no responsibility for it. Well, you should, you know. And it just shows like the human empathy for some people is just not there. Like, the lady didn't even sound sorry. You know, if it was me, I would be like, you know, I'm really sorry what happened to her family. I would just give them money just to, even though money's not gonna bring her back, but I would just feel so bad that somebody's daughter was found dead on my hotel campus. Like, I would feel so bad, like, oh my God, you know, we're sorry this happened. First of all, it's embarrassing. But then again, it's like, people are so weird in this culture that it would make them come even more. Because like I said, a lot of people got murdered in that hotel. And that's what is this? Oh yeah, it's a Barnes and Nobles. Woohoo! So if you are a bookworm like me, yes, Barnes and Nobles. I am in Brooklyn Heights, and this is Court Street. So if you live in Brooklyn, yes, beauties, they moved it. Looks like they, because I've never seen this. 194. This is 194 Atlantic Avenue. Yes. Why is it? Whatever, 194. Not coming up, 194 Atlantic Avenue, yes. Barnes and Nobles, baby, yes. Where the library highs. February, November. Okay, so yes. But yes, Elisa, what's her name? Elisa Lam. Her death was very unfortunate. Obviously the alarm didn't work. Hence why no one heard anything. If the alarm did work, she obviously would be alive, because I'm pretty sure if the alarm, I feel like if the alarm would have went off, at least one of the employees would have ran up there to see what was going on, and they would have stopped the perpetrator from putting her in the tank, risking their own lives, because obviously the person is violent and crazy at that point. But somebody would have knew something. So for her to sit up there talking about it's not our responsibility. Yes, it is, because your alarm was not working. If your alarm was working, maybe she'd still be alive, you know. Now some people might feel like, well, why was she on the roof? This person was mentally ill, okay? Whether she took her meds or not is neither here nor there. It's just really sad that we live in a culture where people just don't care about humans. And, you know, she has enough followers for people to kind of make a petition to say, I think the new law should be, you must have your alarms on point. Like, they need to come down on hotels to be like, your alarms need to be on point, and if it's not, you will get fined of this amount of money. And if they start doing that, then these hotels have no choice, because at the end of the day, that's negligence. There's no reason why somebody should have been on the roof of that hotel, period. You know, they was making enough money. You had people living there, for Christ's sakes. So you're making some type of money. Plus they getting money from the city, because like I said, Cecile Hotel is considered a shelter, right? It just got shut down this year. But if you are considered a shelter, you get money from the city and you getting money from the people. And people were staying there for months, sometimes years at a time, which means you have the funds to fix your alarm. Plus you have tourists on top of that, because, you know, people are weird. And despite all the tragedy, people was attracted to that, because Los Angeles is like another New York, even more popular, because they have Hollywood. We don't have Hollywood. New York is known for making money. Why is New York so famous and popular? Because people from as far back as the 20s and 30s came over here to make money. Yeah, we have our little shows and Broadway and stuff, but this is where the money's at. You know, we have our attractions here too, but Los Angeles, people love LA just because it's LA. They think they're gonna run into a celebrity, whatever. Just like in New York, I've met many celebrities here too. So yeah, people come to LA off the strength of the lights, the glitz, and the glamour. You know, but they don't think about Skid Row and the crackheads and the prostitutes and everything in between. That's been going on since the 1930s. You know, so they had a guy that they interviewed. He was from the 80s. You know, he's like, he used to be in Cecile Hotel himself, you know, until the 90s. So yeah. But Elisa Lam, when I get home, I'm gonna finish watching it. But there definitely needs to be not just necessarily justice for her, but justice for anybody who dies in a hotel. Kanika Jenkins. Okay, they said, oh, she ended up on her own. It's like, okay, hypothetically, let's say it's a similar situation, because now Kanika was not mentally ill. She just went to a party. Kanika was not on vacation. That's the difference. Kanika, let's say if she did open that door on her own, who closed it? That's the question that nobody can answer. Who closed it? So we in the black community, we already was like, nah, somebody killed Kanika. And then it's the same thing with this young woman. Let's say if she did put herself in a water tank, which I can't imagine. Even if you high, mentally ill, I just cannot imagine somebody, I don't know. It's possible. Let's throw it out there. Okay, so boom. Who closed the tank? Who closed the tank? If she's in the water, who closed the tank? Somebody had to do it. And there's no cameras up there. There's nobody, you know. So it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate. They ruled it as an accident because she was underwater for so long. They don't know if she was stabbed. They don't know anything. They don't know if she was stabbed. They don't know if somebody choked her out. They don't know if somebody just put a pillow on her face. They don't know anything. You know, so they ruled it an accident. But yeah, tell me what y'all think. Comment, like, and subscribe. With these hotels and their negligence, and it's not just happening to our girls, it's happening to all races. And those are my thoughts.